And I'm back again with the Arteza skin tone marker set. 36 colors, brush nibs. Super excited to just go ahead and break into this. And I'm just getting right into it because I plan on doing 2 character pieces. And we've got the color selection listed up here. I like that little feature. And then we open it from the back. It's magnetized back here. And inside, our markers are wrapped. And here they are. I like their packaging. I really do think it's a very professional quality sort of packaging with the little inner area being red, outer area being black. Even the markers themselves, I really like the dark gray kind of look to it. And these basically are the same ones that I already reviewed in my last Arteza video, which you can find here on my channel. I reviewed the Deco tones, which I'll also be using these in this video as well, just for like hair color and clothing. Perhaps a pop of a colorful background, things like that. So we've got the gray barrel, brush nib here, chisel nib on the other side. Nice. And I'm gonna go ahead and color swatch them. The paper I have here is Arteza's as well. And in my last video, I already reviewed it. It's this one, the 50 Sheets Marker Pad Premium. And basically my thoughts on this paper was kind of meh. I wasn't completely sold on it. But I'm gonna go ahead and give it a second try anyways. Maybe I'll have some new opinions on it. I also plan on doing 2 different characters and using a mid-tone and a darker tone skin color. Mostly because if you're interested in seeing a lighter tone skin color, then you're in luck. Check out my previous Arteza video because the character I colored with the Deco tones has a lighter skin color. Ooh, this is a rich color. Really liking these browns. So far, I'm a huge fan of these browns and these pinks going on over here. All right, so here they are all swatched out, and I'm currently just looking through and trying to decide what kind of colors would mix well together. I think this would be a great deep tone. And then this would be a great mid-tone. And for those interested in a lighter tone, this would be pretty much the lighter tone. This piece uses the R18 base, and it doesn't use the exact pinks listed here. I used pink tones from the Deco set. So I used the R18, which is also in the Deco tone set. And then I used Piggy Pink, R27, a little bit of Watermelon Pink, R46, and a bit of, I believe it was PO5, which is Orchid Purple. So that was this tone. And that would pretty much be the lighter tone for those who are interested. So let's do a medium and deep skin tone. And so I have here the first character I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be starting off with the 3 deeper tone colors, beginning with my base color, which is the tan leather brown. And of course, I made this a monster girl, as I'm trying to follow the same sort of theme that I'm doing with these monster girls. And I'm trying to make sure not to be too heavy-handed, as the previous issue that I dealt with in my last video was the bleeding out of the ink. And since this is such a deeply saturated kind of color, I definitely recommend blocking in your sections when it comes to the skin in order to avoid any streakiness. Streakiness tends to be more visible on richer, more saturated colors. And then I'm still using the same base color, but I'm kind of blocking in a bit of shading areas. All right, so now I got my base color down and I have a little bit of shading sort of showing through. And now I'm going to be moving to the cocoa brown and kind of just going back and forth between my base color, which is the tan leather brown, and my cocoa brown color, just to get some good blending done, starting with the inner corner of the eye, blending out. And I am by no means a skin coloring pro, especially when it comes to deeper colors like this. I feel like I have so much still to learn. I mean, honestly, the best advice that I have, which is probably the most obvious, is to just study real life references and to just see how the light kind of bounces off different types of skin tones. You'll notice that when it comes to deeper and richer tones, light sort of just bounces off the skin. I think that's the correct term. Whereas on lighter tones, it seems to just sort of meld or mesh into it. So now I'm using my deepest tone. And usually with my deepest tone, I kind of just add accents. So like around the eye, underneath the chin, anywhere where the color would be really deep, that light wouldn't really be hitting around there. And then my favorite part when it comes to these deeper skin tones is adding color pencils. So I'm not reviewing this. I've already reviewed these before, but these are the Arteza colored pencils. If you're a marker artist, I highly recommend getting some and mixing the two mediums together. It's super fun. And so I'm using this blue color and I'm just going to very softly highlight areas. Not going to go too crazy. And then I'm also using a yellow just to get some really cool color interest in there, especially when you add a highlight to these really dark areas. Just stands out so much. And this is just a personal preference of mine. You don't have to do this. And that's it. I feel like I may have gone a little overboard, but at the same time, I really love it. So I'm going to go ahead and introduce my Deco tones and color in the rest of her. I was going to do yellow eyes, but I actually went with yellow eyes on this girl. So I think I might do, I don't know, green eyes? Yeah, I'm going to do green. I am going to make her horns yellow. And then I think I'm going to do the hair a dark, dark brown. This is coffee brown. And I'm going to use the chisel nib because I really do believe that I'll get a very even coverage with it. I always seem to get an even coverage when I use my chisel nib, probably because the ink flows more evenly. I'm not 100% sure. Be careful though. I've got like ink getting onto my palm because I have a bad habit of resting my palm on my art piece, and I shouldn't. I know it's so bad. So just a reminder, don't rest your palm when the ink is still fresh. Although I feel like that's a rookie mistake, so you probably already know that. Okay, so I just finished and really love how this came out. The addition of the Arteza colored pencils was a great idea. Highly recommend mixing those two mediums up. While working on it though, I did have an issue. So about right here, I was adding in the coloring for the background with the chisel nib, and the chisel nib is always known for being more juicier. That's how it is on all markers that I've tried. Hence why I chose to do the background with the chisel nib to get a lot of ink and to get a very smooth sort of coloring for the background where it's not so streaky. But in the process of doing so, as I was coloring this area right here, I don't know if you can see it from down there. Let me bring it up. So as I was coloring on this side right here, all of a sudden these weird little speckles started coming through, kind of like other colored ink. And I was like, what is going on? And I thought, is it from her hair? Like, did I pull the ink out? No, it's not from her hair. What happened was I was using this sheet underneath, which is what you're supposed to do. It's a protector sheet. So it's supposed to keep the ink, from going through the page and either messing up the next page to it or messing up your desk or whatever. So of course I had it down here because I didn't want to get any ink on my desk. And you'll see the green here. The green and yellow colors are from this piece from when I was coloring in her hair. And so what happened was, as I was coloring in her, the green reactivated and speckled and colored on the back. And that was disappointing. What a bummer. So I just wanted to share that with you. I don't know if it would happen with other sheet protectors. I've actually never quite used these before, so I don't know if that's a common thing with other sheet protectors, but it was definitely something that I wanted to mention because I would rather people who purchase this kind of stuff to be aware and not make the same mistakes, I guess, as I just did. But anyways, let's move on to the next character without the sheet protector this time. And so this is my next character where I'm doing a slightly lighter kind of skin tone, kind of like a middle tone. And I'm really liking this character and her double eyes. I think it's like kind of trippy. I don't know. I'm just a fan. All right, so I'm done with my base color. Kind of just adding another layer. We'll say shading for the eye is a bit difficult when you've got two sets of eyes. I'm just kind of guessing it would be dark under this first one. Not sure. I am weirdly struggling. Not sure why. Feel like I'm just not hitting the shadows well. Although maybe I'm just not trusting the process. It's just still in that awkward phase at the moment. Hopefully my final color can sort of bring it all together. So I'm using my darkest color right now, adding in final shading. I'm not the biggest fan of my color selection on this one. And it's weird because when I swatched them out next to each other, it felt like they went really well with each other. I don't know. I think the spiced cider color, which was my deepest color, may have been a little too deep, or I may have layered it a bit too much over here. It's just looking a little funky for my taste. But I'm going to continue and finish her up with her lips, her hair, eyes, shirt, all that good stuff. And then I'm doing just pink hair. And this is the most fun part, especially when it comes to blending. I'm just flicking up and out, and then taking my second color and going over top and pulling down and pulling up. And then you basically repeat the process in sections until you're all done. So I decided to go with blue eyes since I've already done yellow and green. Ooh, it's freaky. I love it. I love the double eye look. It's very unsettling and hard to focus on. A few hiccups I feel with this skin tone. I do feel the colors go well together. I just think I may have gone a little too layer heavy on this area to where it doesn't really look like skin tone shading. It just kind of looks odd. I don't know how else to really describe it. I tried to balance it out by adding, of course, more shading to the rest of the character. I did forget to put some highlights. I like to put little highlights. Okay, not to get like completely sidetracked, but there we go. So I definitely wish I had done a bit of a better job with the skin tone. But overall, I love what I was able to achieve, especially with these darker colors. I really, really love how this skin tone came out. And I love how my previous one came out. Again, really love the markers. I think they performed extremely well. I love how they blend. I love how they work. I love how saturated the colors are. Everything about them, I just really like. I would say my only con would be they are a little bit pricier than some other markers that I've used, but still way more affordable than Copic. And I do wish that they had refillable ink, but honestly, I wish that about almost every other marker brand that I ever use. So the marker pad paper though, I'm not a fan of. I can't in good conscience recommend or say that it's a good option for me personally. And what I've experienced with this character and then these two, I just don't think the paper lives up to the expectations that I had. And I do hope Arteza revisits their marker pad paper and maybe perhaps redesigns it. My biggest points with it was I didn't like how thin it was. That's not to say it's the thinnest paper I've ever used. It is thicker than printer paper, but it's just not the kind of durability that I would have liked for making pieces like these. The other thing was how easily my marker ink sort of bled out. You can't see it that well because I did sort of use the dark purple to go over the green that just bled out into her Batwing. It happened a little bit on this one. And then finally with this one, of course, I experienced this weird speckling. But I do recommend the markers. I love the markers. And I love the way the brush nib feels. I had a great time working with it, blending with it. Had no issues with it at all. And the good thing is Arteza does have some deals going on as we enter into the holiday season. And some of the deals include some of their marker packs, like the Deco tone pack being $33.99. The skin tone pack, or the portrait tone pack really, is also $33.99. Original prices were $89.13. They do have some other marker sets that are currently at $89.13. But at the $33.99 price, it comes to about less than $1 per marker. And of course, all these prices are at the time of the recording of this video or the release of this video, really. So if you enjoyed this video, maybe comment, like, and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Thanks, everyone.